Hi, I'm Tom Woodruff Jr. Thanks for coming to Studio ADI here on YouTube, and thanks for subscribing. For this segment, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I want to look at one of my passions that I've had since I was a kid, and that's for stop motion animation. And Alec has shared the same background. When he was a kid, we would watch these movies on TV. The animation of Ray Harryhausen and Willis O'Brien. This was long before I knew who these guys were and how this thing worked. But I did learn over the years, and that sort of actually made my interest grow even more because it's something that I could do on my own. So many years ago, I met Bob Burns, who was himself a special effects guy back in the 60s and the 70s and wore gorilla suits into the 80s and 90s, and he was sort of like a kindred spirit. But he had, among his amazing collection of memorabilia, the original stop-motion skeletons of Mighty Joe Young and King Kong. And for those of you who aren't into the whole history of stop-motion, the armature is the piece of metal that's used to hold the body in position from frame to frame to allow you to animate. And these are probably two of the most famous animation models in all the world. They're certainly some of the oldest that still exist. So I asked Bob one day if I could bring my camera over to his place and just shoot a couple of shots of Mighty Joe Young and animate him and bring him to life again. And he actually did me one better. He allowed me to bring the Mighty Joe Young armature here to ADI, and I actually spent the weekend of my 50th birthday with Mighty Joe Young here in the conference room, animating a short feature, a short project of bringing him back to life. And it was such a rewarding experience, and I shared the results with Bob. And then he threw down the gauntlet and said, you should do the same thing with King Kong. And King Kong, because it's a much older armature and much earlier in the early days of stop motion, is not as well engineered or as well machined and crafted as the Mighty Joe Young armature. So what that means to the animator is that it's a much more difficult armature to bend into all the positions that you really want, and to have it hold those positions that you need in between shots. So it was a lot more of a struggle to get smooth animation out of it. And the thing I really wanted to do was stick to the original techniques, even though I have a great program for digital animation. I didn't want to rely on the features that they didn't have back in the 30s and 40s, things like onion skinning, where you can see earlier stages of animation, or flipping back and forth from one shot to another, from one frame to another. So I did it much the same way it was done back then. And I made a little story out of it. I wanted to tell this sweet story of the Kong armature still alive that comes out of hiding at night, and he finds pictures of Fay Wray, the actress from King Kong, and he's still in love with this actress. And it's a very short story. It's sort of a very open ending, but it gave me an opportunity to really see how much character I could get out of just this piece of metal. So anyway, I'm going to run it now. I hope you enjoy it. And again, I want to thank you for always coming back here to Studio ADI. We enjoy bringing you clips like this of our work and all of the things that have brought us to where we are.